welcome to Two Cooks in the Kitchen. Today we are going to make a chicken tagine with preserved lemons and olives. And we are going to use the tagine, which is a Moroccan cooking vessel. The principle behind this is that the steam comes up here, it condenses, and it flows back down into the bottom of the dish, and the process just keeps going. It's like you're percolating your dinner. And so this will cook for quite a long time on very low heat while that process moves along. So to start with, we are going to make Ras el Hanout. It is a Moroccan spice mix, and this is pretty, it's like, it kind of translates to the top shelf for the best spices. So for this, we are going to have 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and of course this could be done with whole spices. This is the easy method with spices already ground. Here's 2 teaspoons of ground cardamom and 2 teaspoons of mace. And that was the 2 teaspoon group. Now the 1 teaspoon group, we will begin with allspice. That a spice that we didn't buy in bulk. It's actually in its own jar. And a teaspoon of cinnamon. Some turmeric. Coriander. Nutmeg.
Is there anything left in the cupboard?
Oh yeah, there's lots more. And black pepper. And then for the half teaspoon group, we have cayenne. And the 1/4 teaspoon group, cloves. They can get overpowering, so 1/4 teaspoon is going to be plenty. And that, all you do is mix this up, and that is Ras el Hanout. And this can last in a jar in your spice cupboard for a long time. All right, so we are going to marinate our chicken. I'm going to let this marinate for almost 24 hours. A couple hours is fine if you're just going to make this the same day. But I have here my 4 chicken thighs. I'm going to add to that 2 onions chopped up. And I like these chopped up pretty small for this job. This is ginger that I've also just chopped up. You could grate it. You could even use powdered ginger if you'd like. Trick with the ginger is you can buy a big chunk of it and you can freeze it and just break off what you want to use. And that way you don't have a big old piece of ginger molding in your vegetable drawer. Here's some parsley and some coriander.
AKA cilantro.
Cilantro.
Not everybody knows that.
Since this is a Moroccan dish, I think they probably use the British pronunciation, coriander.
Coriander.
And I have some chopped garlic, and this would probably amount to about 4 cloves or so. and preserved lemon. So this is one of the stars of this dish. I have an entire preserved lemon. I chopped up 3/4 of it, and I kept 1/4 of it in some slivers for when we're going to put it in the tagine tomorrow. So just chopped up roughly, and we are going to add our spices. We need a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of black pepper. Come on. A tablespoon of our Ras el Hanout. A tablespoon of Harissa. And a small amount of saffron. This is some saffron that some friends brought back from Spain. And it doesn't take a lot. Probably put in a little bit more than that, but not that much. Okay, and then I have about 2 tablespoons of melted ghee. I'm going to add in here. And my ghee, I make ghee to use mostly for curries, so it has definitely some spices in it when I make it. And let's see what we got here. And then we're just going to mix this and let it sit in the refrigerator until we're ready to load up the tagine. No, it's kind of, not a lot of liquid in here. It will be when it's done cooking, though. Okay, there you have it. We're done for the day, and we'll pick this up again tomorrow. All right, so to go with our tagine today, we are going to make a Moroccan flatbread called cloves. I think that's how you pronounce it. Khobz. And so this is 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, this is a pretty basic looking recipe. I've never made it before, so we'll see how it goes. Mix these ingredients. And then make a well. This is gonna get messy.
Kind of mess.
Into the well, we are gonna put 1 tablespoon of yeast. And then we add 1 1/4 cups of warm water. And then using your hands, mix that yeast in with the water first and then everything else. And once we have somewhat of a dough going here, we're going to take it to the stand mixer. You could also just knead it for a long time, 10 minutes. I'm not sure doing it this way is necessary. You could just do it like normal and do it all, mix it all in the stand mixer. Add the water to the yeast, then add the flour like other breads, but I don't know, so I'm doing it the way I was told to. Starting to come together. We're seeing a lot less free-floating flour. And it's got that nice stick to your fingers dough aspect going on. Starting to get a little less sticky here. All right, I think I can get this in the mixer now. And let the machine do the work. Dough. That's how it works. Alright, so we're going to turn this thing on and let this go for about 5 minutes and see what we've got. Sticky stuff. Alright, so this has been in here for about 5 minutes. This is a pretty stiff dough, but it feels pretty good. See if I can get it to go together better. It didn't really form a ball or anything in the mixer, which I don't know if I was supposed to expect that or not. So. And I'm gonna cut this into quarters and make 4 loaves. And so I think I'll get that part right now. We want kind of a, not a ball, but sort of a flat round shape here. And then I have some oiled baking trays. We're gonna put these on and cover them and let them sit for 15 minutes. Not really. It's going to come out with a lot of cracks in them. I'm not sure that's desirable. It may be. I don't know. It's an experiment. All right, so we are going to see what happens with these on their oil baking sheet. We'll cover them with a light cloth and come back in 15 minutes and see what we have. All right, so these have had their 15 minutes plus a little. I realized that I forgot to put 2 tablespoons of oil into this dough. So what I did was I tried to knead in a half a tablespoon of oil into each of these balls. So far it appears that it worked, but you know, if this whole thing flops, that would probably be why. I probably should have just started over, but I'm not going to. So the next step is to flatten these into rounds about 1/4 inch thick, and then we'll let them sit for another hour before we bake them. And that's all there is to this. All right, our bread is sat for an hour. It's a little springy to the touch, so near as I can tell, we're getting what we're supposed to out of this. So we're going to score this with a knife to make some steam vents. Now, this bread comes out, it's not as flat as, say, naan, but it's, you know, it's still definitely a flat bread. The amount of surface area means that it has a lot of crust, which is the desirable quality in this bread, and it's good for scooping up your Moroccan soups. So we are going to put this in a 435-degree oven for 10 minutes and then rotate the pans and cook it for another 10 minutes. So this will be 20 minutes altogether, and we'll see what we have. So after 20 minutes in the oven, these look pretty darn good. Take a look at the other side. Just about right. Okay, it's time to assemble our dish and start cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put just a little bit of oil in the bottom of the tagine and spread that around, and obviously olive oil. And we're going to put the chicken in here, and we're going to cook this for 90 minutes, and then we're going to turn the chicken over, which will essentially stir all the contents of this pot. Okay, chicken in. Get all the onions and spices in here. Oh yeah. Look at that, that's just beautiful. So, the next thing is our olives. Now, these are Kalamatas, which I don't think are very Moroccan, but, you know, same kind of olive producing parts of the world. So, these are both red and green. And I think it's going to make a nice little touch here. And since both the olives and the preserved lemon that we used earlier, and we're going to add some more, are quite salty. You really, really don't need to add salt to this dish. You can add a little bit, but you know, taste it. I'm also going to add some raisins to this. Because fruit in a tagine, I mean olives are fruit obviously, but some raisins as well. It just is really a nice little touch. You know, dried apricots would work really well. But we have apricot with another chicken tagine, so we're going to use raisins today. And then for one more little touch, a little bit of crunch on top of this, I'm going to add some almonds. So I have some slivered almonds, and I'm just going to sprinkle a few of these over the top of this. It'll be a beautiful thing. You just get a little crunch every once in a while. That's going to be lovely. And then our preserved lemons, which we sliced yesterday and set aside. We'll just lay those on top.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's going to be really good too. Okay, there's that, and then lastly, a small amount of water. We don't want to drown this thing, we just want it to have some water for the cooking process. So I'm giving it maybe a half a cup here. And you can always, well, you can check it and add water after maybe, well, when you stir it actually would be a good time, because really you don't want to open this once you've closed it. So here is our slow cooker, basically is what this is. Now these pots do not want to be on directly on flame. So this is a heat diffuser, and this goes on the burner and you set the pot on top of this. So we're going in at medium low here. Medium low, and what we want is in about 20 minutes, we want this to begin slowly simmering. We don't want anything, we don't want it to boil big time or anything. We just want it to slowly simmer and let the steam rise up and fall back down and rise up and fall back down, and just slowly cook this chicken. And we'll come back in a little while and see what we've got. We're going to let this go for 90 minutes. Would have to watch it for the temperature, but pretty much 90 minutes without opening it. Then we'll come back and turn the chicken over. All right, so we've cooked for our first 90 minutes. You can see that there's steam coming out the vent here. I checked this quite a while ago. I could feel that this was really getting hot. You can see that there's some moisture going on the seal line there. So it's time to turn the chicken. So let's see what's going on in here. Oh, look at that. That's pretty fantastic. It definitely doesn't need any more moisture. And the process of
I bet it's gonna be really moist.
turning the chicken is going to stir all of this. You know, this recipe calls for doing this, and I've never done this before, but I'm thinking you really don't have to do this. I'm not going to. If you didn't have enough liquid in here and the top of the chicken was getting dry, I think that's when you'd want to turn it. But really, look at this. Nothing's getting dry in here.
No.
I think I'm just going to leave it on for another hour and call it good. All right, so it's time to serve our tagine. You might notice that I had a haircut today. It's my first haircut since March. and it was done by my lovely camera crew, Kelly. Oh. So here we go.
God, your hair kind of looks the same.
Oh, look at this. Here's the big reveal. Woo-hoo!
Look at that.
Yeah, that looks really good. All right, so I'm going to attempt to get some of this on a plate.
Yeah, you probably need to use that other spoon for a
Scooper thing. Or... Looks like the, looks like the chicken is just falling apart. I'm not sure what, I'm not seeing a lot of juice for the bread here. So I'm not sure how this...
We'll have to use butter.
Well, we have ghee, which I
Oh.
was gonna put on it, but that'd be delicious. So here you have it. This is this is gonna be really good. It's preserved lemon and olive chicken tagine. All right, so this evening we're pairing this with, we have some Mazzacco Smith Orchard Reserve left from last night, which is really, it's a pretty nice wine. I really enjoy it a lot. It has a few tannins, but they fade into water at the end. And then we're also, we've opened a Rombauer Zinfandel. And this right here, for Zinfandel lovers, that's the Zin right there. It's sweet, it's round, it's juicy, it's like, oh, it's so good. It's fruity. I love that wine. And our Tagine. Wow, it's an explosion of flavor. I'd really like to taste one of these olives, but I'm gonna have to do that in a minute. Yeah, it's, wow, just kabam. I think our cobes here, I'm not sure the value of this. There's no juice really to soak up with the cracker, and I'm not sure I'm gonna enjoy that. We're gonna put some ghee on it. We're gonna brush it with ghee to get something going with it, but I think I could do without it. So that's that. Thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.